Hello, friends. It's the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Mark. What are we talking about today? Supergirl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you mean me? Oh, different Supergirl.
We're talking about Kathy, aka
Supergirl. Okay. We're talking
Remember
about
that
the
XTC
cousin.
song? Such a great song, XTC.
Oh my God. We are talking about the cousin of Superman,
Yes.
not the sister,
Yes.
not the girlfriend,
Not the wife.
Nope, nothing. Nope, cousin.
Yes, and she had a brief cameo in the latest Superman
Which was great.
film.
Yeah.
Yes,
So good.
You got a taste of what she was all about, and she's young and she wants to party, and she's just living a great life, going from planet to planet and getting drunk. And Millie Alcock is Supergirl, and she was great in House of Dragons. She really
She's so good.
brought it. Australian actress, and I think she's a perfectly cast to play this kind of character.
Perfect. She just seems wise beyond her years, and she totally brings in that jaded affect because, here's this girl who was on this planet and it was destroyed. She's seen all the people around her die, so she's gotten real, fuck it. I'm just partying and having fun and sticking with my dog Krypton.
Yeah.
And the Earth is like almost like a playground for people like that. You can just basically do whatever you want, and you can fly away if you get in trouble, if you embarrass yourself or whatever.
That's right.
Well, this is part of the big James Gunn reinvention now that we're going through, but this isn't directed by him.
Right.
It's directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya, which was that Tonya Harding movie.
Oh yeah.
Cruella. And the remake of Fright Night, which wasn't very good, but he's a big time director, and I think he brings that same sort of feel that James Gunn brings to the new, rehatching DC as something that's a little bit lighter and more fun than sort of the dark, heavy Zack Snyder stuff, which was just so leaden and down. Batman. It was just sort of like, man, this is a bummer. Aren't they supposed to be a little bit fun?
It was a thing at the time. I just feel like I don't want that all the time. And I feel like what James Gunn brings to this kind of franchise stuff is a genuine love of the genre and filmmaking and having it be fun and also kind of a little raunchy, a little bit edgier. And so I like that he's like assigning people he knows will be able to do the job and stick within those kind of confines of making something a little more relevant, not old fashioned at all. Like we're not doing an old fashioned like Superman or Supergirl or anything like that. We're doing something new and James Gunn like, and I'm fully on board with this guy. I think it's amazing.
But they are calling back to the really old Superman stuff, the Kurt Swan, those great Justice League era of the superhero Superman, Jimmy Olsen had his own comic book, and Jack Kirby did some of them. But some of those Superman stories were so bonkers, and a lot of them had such great covers. The cover of the comic book would be, some radical situation, and you're like, what the hell? And you have to read the story. Like Superman turned into a gorilla, but now he still has to marry Lois Lane, and it's like these weird, I've turned into a gorilla, but I still have to get married. And then you read the story, it's not quite like that, but that kind of weirdness, that level of bonkers, over the top, anything can happen, is what James Gunn brought to Superman. I think, the Zack Snyder ones, I like them for what they are, but they were sort of grounded in a kind of mythology thing where Superman always had to look cool and always had to be this dark, heroic.
He wasn't human. He didn't have a human aspect.
He was a god.
Yeah. You need some flaws. You need some personality. I feel like that they become iconic, and it feels very shallow in a way.
But we saw Superman with a bloody face in the ice, calling for his dog, and it was like,
and losing fights,
getting beat up and
saving squirrels.
Yeah,
I'm happy about.
And
that's Superman.
Yeah. And Supergirl's interesting to me because I never watched the Supergirl series that was on maybe 20 with Helen Slater. So I don't really know much about Supergirl. This is going to be sort of a blank slate for me. So I like that we're bringing in this actress who is going to have a certain snarl and attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a movie years ago too.
Snarl. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. So, but I think it's going to be fresh and new, and it opens June 26th. So it's going to be a big summer blockbuster release. So let's take a look.
I have not seen anything of this.
Oh, this is a teaser.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Looks like it starts with a record player. All right.
All right.
Close.
Are we ready?
Ready.
Hold the work.
Oh, there he is.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Gotta have a PC.
You managed to get most of it on the paper this time. Good job, buddy.
Life right now. She's so great.
Kara Zor-El. Hereby declare that 23 will be the best year yet. Let's be honest, babe, it's not a very high bar to clear.
I didn't know any of you were still alive. What was it like to lose everything in a day?
Wow.
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind. Okay, this does not look like this is gonna end well. For you guys.
Do others on your planet have powers like you?
No, it's a pretty small group of two.
What's Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
Looks like Guardians of the Galaxy.
It has that vibe a little bit, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like
But that's James Gunn too, you know.
that is James Gunn. I know exactly. It's perfect. Millie Alcock. What I like about her, she looks like the tough chick who could do this. Like she doesn't look like, oh, she's overly beautiful. Like some actress who get in there just too delicate looking, and that they were trying to be tough.
Yeah.
And she looks like she actually is a tough chick. I love that.
Yeah.
Like she's just, I don't know. There's something cool about her. She reminds me of who's the actress in Poker Face?
Natasha Lyonne.
Oh, Natasha. Yeah.
She just has that tough chick vibe that you just love that, because you look like, yeah, they can do that, not just like faking it. So there's authenticity to her as this character that I like.
Well, I also like the fact that, she that line, he sees the good in everything. I see, the truth or
the truth.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the element of her character,
She also kind of reminds me a bit of Florence Pugh, the kind of character she plays in Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Which is sort of this tough, I've seen everything. Nobody can hurt me. This isn't gonna end well for you guys.
Yeah. Without the bad accent.
Right.
Right. And the question is, what is the story? You get a sense that she's fighting some sort of the Mad Max type of guys or something. And is that on Earth or is it on another planet? I really couldn't tell that, but
it looks like to me, I remember one of those weird aspects of the old Superman comics was that they found, I won't go into the details, but they found a city in a bottle. Remember that of Kandor? And it was like Superman had the city in his lair, and it was a whole city in there, and they were people, and it was still functioning, and somehow he kept them alive, and it was a city from Krypton, from his home planet, and it had been shrunk down, somehow, long story, and it looked like there was a scene in this where Krypton is being destroyed, and the city is being lifted up, and there's some kind of dome forming.
Right.
So maybe that's Kandor.
Maybe.
Interesting.
And that's how come she survived. I think there's so much lore, so much crazy lore with the supers.
Well, they say here too, and Supergirl travels across the galaxy on a murderous quest for revenge.
Wow.
And they talk about like how, remember she said it seemed like on her I guess on Krypton where everyone got killed. She said the worst part was everyone that just didn't die at once. So something happened where everybody just started failing, but she was able to escape. So now she wants to get revenge on those people who did that, I guess, which is, I love a good revenge tale, especially when it's women.
Yeah.
Especially about the destruction of their entire planet.
Oh, exactly. It's so
but
good.
But it's a good teaser because you get a sense of the action and sense of her character without a real sense of what's going on in the story and what's really happening. Exactly. But that's good as a teaser goes. So
you get a
bigger trailer.
You get a good girl power theme in there from Blondie, which is
that was fun. Yeah, that was good. Call Me. I know that was
Call Me. Yeah, I mean it was perfect for Superman, Supergirl.
Everybody's always calling.
Come save us.
We'll leave you alone for a second.
Come get my cat out of the tree.
Let me ask you this: the logo at the end, when the Superman logo, is that the Supergirl logo? Is there a difference between the two?
Not that I know of. I mean, between movies and between eras in the comic books, they always change it a little bit. Right. And I remember with the 70s, the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, they came up with in the original old superhero things, all superheroes had their first initial on their shirt right here, right? And it became sort of a trope, and it was kind of weird. And then if you bring that into real life, you have to kind of explain it. You have to, like, a superhero isn't going to go, I'm going to put a big S on my shirt for myself. And so in that 70s Superman movie, they made it his family symbol. It wasn't an S. It was a shape, because the other people had similar shapes.
Exactly. I thought that was cool.
Just happened to look like an S,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one answer to the question is the poster.
Yeah.
So I love that they have her
Superman logo.
I like they have her in the classic Supergirl outfit, but I love that they kept her trench coat on and that she has kind of headphones and give her a little edge, so she's not just looking
sunglasses.
Like a superhero, and that the logo looks spray painted, so it has a little bit of fun to it. It's not just like, I'm a hero. That's right. No, she looks a little like she's not, kind of a little bit of an anti-hero, but she's not.
But she's wearing a costume. She's wearing a Supergirl's costume, which is interesting. I wonder what the origin of that is.
Yeah.
Like what provoked her to wear a
What about a cigarette dangling from her lip? That would have
been
and throw that in here. No cigarettes, no alcohol. That's how it's done.
Right. But I'm excited for this one. I think this is gonna, I like the resurgence of DC under James Gunn because I was kind of pulling for their movies because I was more of a Marvel guy growing up.
Me too.
But I respected DC and I always want a superhero movie to be good, regardless of where it's from.
Yeah.
So.
And I've been liking the Marvel movies better because they had more of a sense of humor and felt a little more modern. I feel like when I was looking at these DC movies that had come out kind of relatively recently, too overly serious, just not fun. It felt like you had to know the comic books well to enjoy them. And I like that James Gunn brings an accessibility factor to it. It makes them really fun and edgy, and they feel very modern. And I like that, kind of snarky.
Well, Mark and I were the Marvel guys mostly, but when I would read DC, I think a lot of the DC stuff was too serious. Like the Detective Comics from when I was a little kid was Batman Detective. It was called Detective Comics, and it was also Batman. But in the Detective Comics, Batman played a detective, and the stories to me were kind of dry, and there weren't any monsters or aliens or there wasn't any. It was just him solving a murder of a senator or something, and he gets the bat suit to do that.
Yeah, Bunko squad, like
Bunko. Yeah, but what I would do is I would sort of gravitate towards the old issues. Those old ones I was talking about from the 50s and the 60s, even of Superman and the Justice League and the Justice Society and all those kind of groups of weird superheroes, like the Expanding Lad or something like that, where he would get really gigantic like a balloon, and that was his superpower. Things that were just nuts, off the wall bonkers. And I used to really like that. And then there was some older things they used to reprint, which was kind of fun. They would take, it wasn't like I was buying vintage comics. I would buy the comics that were the reprints of those. Yeah. And I think that's the fun that they're going for. James Gunn and this show seems to be going for the fun of the older comics with the sort of techie, savvy humor of James Gunn and the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of
all that cool stuff.
Little bit of Marvel vibe in there.
Yeah. Oh, this looks pretty cool.
Supergirl, coming June 26th. I'm sure we'll have another trailer coming.
June 26th. There's plenty of stuff coming. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always fun. So June 26th. Okay, everybody. That was fun.
Super fun.
Supergirl coming
Super
soon.
fun.
Okay.
Super fun, Supergirl.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.